And hi to hello, everybody. Hi to hello. Let me wipe off the lens on my laptop and make it a little bit clearer. Hope you all are having a wonderful day. And please don't get hair in my food.
My hair's nowhere near your food. Scooping some ice and there you go. Okay.
So today I shall be cooking one of my favorite recipes, and I would like to let you all know ahead of time. It's nice to see that there's moderators here. Moderators, just remind people that if this is not their thing, then by all means, they can go find their happy place. There's 500,000 YouTube creators out there, and I promise you there's things to watch. But today I shall be back in the kitchen making making us a meal of one of my favorite all-time dishes. It's my world famous beans, and I say world famous, maybe not world famous, but they're famous enough to where they have won me a couple of awards at our school cook-off. Back when I taught school and back with the family, we always had cook-offs, and I have won a number of cook-offs using this exact same recipe. So today I'm going to walk you through it. It's a 30-minute meal. If you don't have 30 minutes, then by all means, you should go find something else to do. All right. I'm going to wash my hands first, and then we're going to get started. So I'm using the laptop and is nicer where I can see the comments and you can probably see me a lot better. But you can't just take the laptop around the kitchen with you. The laptop is in a stationary spot. So understand that. I'll turn my back on you for a moment to wash my hands good. And then I'm going to show you the ingredients. And then we'll probably wash my hands again and all of those things. And then when I come back, I'm going to tell you one important note, one very important note. All right. So remember the adage that you should not expect that your triggers become everyone else's uh, places they have to, I don't know the exact wordage, but it's not the world's place to tiptoe around your triggers. So it was never more obvious than in the most recent Roman and Rita video, where yes, I end up singing. I do. I sing the Muffin Man song, and I could not believe how many voices are beginning to become vocal of how disgusted they are with that song, and the fact that they will no longer watch the videos because of me singing a song to Roman and Rita while they eat their muffins. And I just say, kick rocks and good riddance to you all. Go find your happy place somewhere else. I'm not a musician. I was never born, and I've never had the first class in singing. As a matter of fact, I have a pretty noticeable speech impairment that has never slowed me down. And shame on you for assuming that because you're triggered by my Muffin Man song, that I'm going to change who I am for you. Not going to do it. I say kick rocks barefoot and just go find your happy place somewhere else. That's actually not my expression. Kick rocks barefoot is something that I saw one of y'all say, and I love it. Anywho, this is not for everybody. The same way we always say that a gift and goodie video is not for everybody. Maybe a cooking video is not for you either. If you're going to come on here and say, I only come for the animals. Well, guess what? I'm the only animal you're going to see in today's video. Just me, and maybe Brucey. Here's Brucey. So Brucey hangs out here in the kitchen as well. So once again, just to make sure that we're on the same page, it is not the world's place to tiptoe around your insecurities and the things that trigger you. It is actually the responsible thing that if something triggers you, then you try to avoid it. And that means if I'm your trigger, or if my song or my cooking or whatever else is your trigger, then you should go find yourself somewhere else. And we're not going to miss you. Sorry, but we're not. Okay. So, first things first, I want to show you all the recipe for today. And if you've seen this recipe before, then that's wonderful. And if you have not, for some of the new folks who've just jumped on, or for those who might have missed this particular cooking recipe, this is my favorite meal of all time. If you want to know, it's my favorite meal of all time. So I do believe it starts with the most important ingredient, which are Goya beans. Now, there are going to be many of you guys who are going to proclaim in the comments that I would never cook from a can. I would never cook from a box. I am to this, I am to that. And that's wonderful. Hip, hip, hooray for all of those that would never find themselves cooking from a can. But that's not who I am. So if you want to proclaim that in the comments that you would never find yourself eating from a can or cooking from a box, then that is completely up to you. And I'm not bitter. If I sound bitter, I'm not. I'm just making it very known that I'm not playing those games tonight. I will be cooking out of a can. There are tons of different kinds of pinto beans out and about, but Goya is something that we import from Mexico. They're all over our supermarkets here in the southern United States, and Goya are the best. I really do hope that Trump will not put a tariff on Goya beans. Tariff everything else if you must, but please, no tariffs on Goya beans, please. Okay. The rice that I'll be making to go along with my meal will also come out of a box. It is Zatarain's, and I like yellow rice. So Zatarain's yellow rice. I love this stuff. And the beans will be Goya beans, and they're pinto beans. Look, frijoles pintos. We will also need some beef sausage. I don't like the combinations of pork and chicken and beef and all of the other things. I just like beef sausage. We'll be frying up some bacon. I got some thick cut bacon. And all of these are going to tie an integral part of our recipe. And the last thing, guys, this over here is called cilantro. Not everyone uses to cook, but this is cilantro. This will go on last. I spent a total of $14 at HEB today. I did take you all shopping with me. I did not make that into a video, obviously, but in case you're wondering what type of meal this is going to make, I will be having 2 cans of beans, the yellow rice, the bacon and the sausage, and 1 49-cent flake or cluster of cilantro. Okay. And I will also go ahead and say that a bean recipe is not for everybody. So if you're also in the comments shouting and screaming how you're going to have horrible gas just from watching me cook, just understand that beans do not affect everybody the way they affect you and your sensitive tummies. Okay. So obviously, if beans are not for you, then you should probably not even ever cook beans. Or maybe you have a special recipe of how you cook them differently than other folks to avoid the gassiness. But beans do not. I have an iron stomach. Jamie has always said that. I have an iron stomach. And so the things that may affect you, like when I've made the Frito pie, or when I've made the burritos, or when I've made so many of my other recipes, I would not make them if they upset me the way they upset many of you all. Okay? So, okay, I think that that's pretty much all of the housekeeping. No one needs to be all sensitive in nature. There's other channels to go watch if you're easily, um, if you feel like you're easily triggered. And then beans do not give me the kind of gas they give many of you all. There. Okay. All right. Well, first things first, I'm going to go ahead and start frying up the bacon. And so what I'm going to do is wash my hands again, get me a couple of knives, and I'll get that all going. What I actually do is I cut my bacon using meat scissors. Okay. I'm going to turn this skillet on. Jamie is in her office if I need her, but I'm going to get the bacon going first. Can you guys see what I'm doing? Okay, so what I've done so far after I washed my hands was I went ahead and took out our meat cutting scissors. We do have scissors made for cutting meat. And I went ahead and cut my bacon into tiny pieces. Not tiny, tiny. I don't want it to fry away, but I cut it in little strips about so long. I do have the bacon on top of the frying pan over here. I'm going to go ahead and fry that bacon up. What I'm going to do to make sure the smoke alarm does not go off, I'll turn on the fan and even crack open a window. I'll also turn on this. I don't like that to be on while I'm videoing because it's kind of loud. I'm sure you can all probably hear the ice maker, which is what you're sitting on right now. So let me get that taken care of. All righty. Okay. I'll also add that I bought enough beans to where this will be able to feed me and Jamie tonight, and I'll have enough to eat on tomorrow as well. In saying so, I'm going to go ahead and open these Goya beans and get these put into the pot and get them on a simmer. I will turn my attention towards the bacon momentarily, but let me get these beans going. I don't have the heat on yet. I do not want the heat on quite yet. And I'm going to go ahead and put both cans of beans in there. I'm not exactly sure. Janice, I'm so sorry your head is killing you. I'm sorry you don't feel well, ma'am. What I do when my head hurts so bad is I turn off the lights. I like to lay in the dark, and I will turn the lights off. Sometimes having the lights off and having, if you're sensitive to light, then that can sometimes help a little bit. Yes, we're not doing the cilantro yet. That will come last on my recipe. And I understand there are so many folks who would do this recipe completely different. But last on my recipe will be the cilantro. Okay, so I'm going to turn the beans on a low simmer. And I still have the bacon frying. Most of my cooking recipes, I've only done 5 what I will call cooking shows, but you guys know that most of my cooking shows always end in disaster. I don't always do very good cooking shows. I wish I were better because I do love to eat. I've also learned to cook. A lot of people forget that Lester was divorced. I went through a 7 year. 7 years is quite a long time to be between Ellie's mom and then Lex's mom. And so for those 7 years, I wasn't adamant about dating. I really did try to devote my time to taking care and raising LE. I was his coach to a lot of his sports, and I tried to find as much time with him as I possibly could. I was also teaching school, driving a school bus, and coaching. So to be honest, there wasn't a whole lot of people for me to date. I'd never done the online dating, so I wasn't real sure how that even worked. And so if I couldn't meet somebody around school, then I just didn't meet anybody. And so during those 7 years, I feel like I learned to cook pretty good. And like I said earlier, I learned to cook from a box. So cooking out of a box has never bothered me. I've never been the kind of guy that demands that anyone who cooks for me does it from scratch. That may be something big in your household, and I get it. There are people who are adamant that nothing in their kitchen comes out of a box or it's all from grandmother's recipe, and that's wonderful for you. But that's not the way I am. I do cook from a box quite a bit. Okay, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and cut open our beef sausage. I will cut that into small pieces and put those into our beans. I don't mean to sound brash. If in fact it does come across that I'm being rude tonight or brash, it's just the fact that it's been kind of a stressful day with a couple of the comments. You guys already know that we get that way sometimes. You can say ignore the comments, block them, block them, block them. But what I hate is when somebody has been around for a while and they profess their love for the animals, and then they find something they don't like about you as the creator, and they want to announce their departure. And it makes you realize real fast that all of these things that they've said, all this love they proclaimed about the animals, was not really for the animals anyway. And so for the dumbest reasons, like a song, I used to really like Roman and Rita, but I'm no longer going to watch them because I can't stand when Lester sings. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, so this is how I've cut up my sausages. Not too small, but not so big they can't be eaten easily with a fork. Okay? So maybe they do just like attention, and that's fine because some people need attention in different ways. But I'm still under the mindset of if you allow things like that to trigger you enough, to where you will say goodbye to animals that have done nothing but earned a little bit of love from you all, and that's how fast you say goodbye. All right, so in case anyone is counting, I would love to find out and ask you the first trivia question. How many times have I washed my hands during the course of this particular video? How many people have been watching so close to know how many times I've washed my hands during the course of this particular video? So it looks like you are jumping back between 3 and 4, 3 and 4. In case you want to go back and re-watch, that was my fourth time, y'all. Fourth time to wash my hands. I started at the very beginning. I started after I handled the ingredients. I washed the third time after I did the bacon, and I did the fourth time after I cut up the sausages. So that would be the fourth time that I've washed my hands in the short 21-minute video. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get me a spoon to stir the beans / sausages. The bacon is looking wonderful. It's frying up very nicely. And then I do have one confession that I have to make. I will be unable to make the rice unless Jamie will come out and make it in the microwave, because we don't have enough of the right pots and pans to make rice. If Jamie's watching and she wants to come make the rice in the here she comes now.
What do you mean there's not enough space?
I can't find enough of the things to make the rice at the same time as everything else. So do you want to make it in the microwave?
No, but we haven't got it.
Darn it. So my hope of getting Jamie to make the rice in the microwave is not going to work out. She's going to instead force that I cook it in that pot. Great. So tired of this.
What's wrong with the pot?
I had promised everyone a 30-minute video, and it's running on. It's already at 22 minutes, and I'm not going to make it in time.
The rice takes 25 once it's boiling.
The rice is going to take way too long. Y'all are never going to want to wait around long enough to see me eat the rice.
Hey, what size box do you have? Does it say 3.5 cups?
Don't even worry about it. Let's just eat the beans alone. Let's just eat the beans alone. But I will say this. You can either make them with yellow rice, or you can also air fry French fries. We've done them with both. We have put our red beans and rice on top of French fries from the air fryer, and that's wonderful. Is that faster, babe? Or you want rice?
The air fryer's just the same, but it's loud.
So the air fryer is going to be loud, Jamie says.
I got this.
She's going to take care of that part. All right, so Jamie's cooking rice. I'm doing the beans, and the bacon's looking pretty good. What I'm going to do right now is go ahead and get my bacon plate ready with my paper towels to help drain it.
Be back out in 5 minutes when that rice water is boiling.
Okay.
Do you need help?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Thank you, though. Okay, we're looking pretty good over here. So what I have are the beans and the sausage on boil. They're boiling, which is wonderful. I also have the bacon that's frying, and I'm going to drain that bacon onto the paper towel there with the paper plate behind me. And then once I get all of those three done, I'll combine them together, and I'll cover those beans up for a little bit so they can cook a little faster. And then I will not add the cilantro until they're ready to come out. What I can go ahead and do now, though, is add my salt and pepper. Shirley says I would pour the bacon grease into my beans. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. That I think would make it, I don't think that would. I understand why you want to do that, but I prefer just the bacon itself taste instead of having the bacon grease. I don't want to do that to myself, really. We like a lot of salt and pepper here. And then what I also like is red pepper, crushed red pepper. I would love to add me some crushed red pepper to make it really spicy. That'll be so hot that your nose will run while you're eating it. And that's okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and walk you over and show you a little bit of how everything's looking. I hope I don't lose you when I disconnect you from the power plug. But this is what we got going over here right now. You can see my rice and beans right there in the larger pot. And then I have the bacon over there that's frying. It's almost ready. And then Jamie has just started that third pot, which will be the water we're going to get to boiling for our rice. Now, like I said, Jamie has ran back to her office. What I'm going to do right now is grab me a soda while I'm waiting and talking to you all. We have a few minutes to talk here if y'all want to. I'm going to stir this up right quick. Stir this bacon around a little bit. And then what I'm drinking tonight is a Pepsi Zero Sugar. I have discovered that I like Pepsi Zero Sugar more than I like Coke Zero. So I'm trying to find me a cup. This one here should work okay. There we go. Let that fizz settle down a little bit. So this is Pepsi over ice. So what I was working on before I came inside to start cooking was my follow-up video to Justin. That is really good. If you've never had a chance to try Pepsi Zero, I encourage you to give it a shot. Give me 1 second here. We're going to wait 2 minutes. 2 minutes before I take that bacon off. And so what I will do with you all to entertain you for the next 2 minutes is we'll go out here to the shop and I'll do a little workout. I got something that I think you probably have forgotten about. Something that I did a whole lot of in the old days. Who all remembers this? Come on, who all remembers this contraption? Who all remembers this contraption? That's my question to you all. This is a fun one. Remember, I only have 2 minutes. Do not let me forget that I'm cooking. So this here goes inside of that. This is a whole lot of fun. And I am determined that this is how I'm going to get myself into shape. This and my shake weights. I may be the only guy in history who attempts to get into great shape by using the hula hoop and shake weights at the same time. Are we ready? Move, Fiona. Oh, sweet baby. Oh, Fiona. Sweetie, I'm so sorry. Sweetie. Oh, baby. Oh, sweetie. Oh, I just whacked Fiona. Sweetie, I'm so sorry, sweetie. I was finding my groove. Sweetie, baby. She's okay, y'all. Sweetie, are you mad at daddy now? Oh, I whacked Fiona with the... Oh, I was just finding my groove. Come on, sweetie. Come on, Fiona. Fiona's okay. She's like, I just need to come in and rest now because I have a headache. Now I can't see nothing. I just can't see nothing because I'm blind. Sweetie, I'm so sorry. I was trying to entertain everybody, baby. I was just trying to entertain our friends, sweetie, and I whacked you. Did y'all see what I did to poor Fiona? I'm over there just doing the hula hoop, just like, and Fiona walks up to love me, and that hula hoop whacked her. There's a ball on the end of that thing, and it whacked her right in her little face. Poor baby. I feel horrible about that. Fifi needs some bacon. You're right. Hey, sweetie. Fee, come here, sweetie. Here, sweetie. It's hot, so be careful. She says, thanks, Daddy. That's what I needed was some bacon. All right, so the bacon is good. I'm going to go ahead and just let it drain here for a second or so. And then what I like to do is take the paper towels and try to sop up all of that grease that I can to make it a little bit less greasy. And then taste. I'm going to pour it in here. Uh-oh. I'm afraid I did the same thing I did last time, darn it. I done forgot. Look what I did. I done melted the spoon. All right, we're going to turn that down to medium. Babe, the rice water is boiling. This is coming along real good. All right, I'm going to add some butter to that water for the rice. It says add 1 tablespoon of butter, and so the butter actually comes marked with your tablespoons. And I just cut off where it said 1 tablespoon, and I put that into the boiling water where we have that's the one over here for the rice. I'm going to go ahead and wash my hands again. I I feel so bad for my brother Dan. He loves to do cooking shows, but everyone always complains that he's constantly touching his face. He's always touching his face. And I'm like, well, Dan, stop touching your face all the time. He said, I don't think about it. So I need to put the rice in and then bring it back to a boil and then remove it from the heat. So since this is that yellow rice, there's things on the bottom, seasonings on the bottom. So I should have shook it good and I didn't do it. Okay, there's that. All right, I'm going to bring that rice to a boil. I can't really find the right spoon, so I'm going to go ahead and just use this spoon over here for the rice. I don't think it's going to mess up the Tupperware, or not the Tupperware, but the stuff that you guys talk about on the bottom of the pans and the things that you cook with. You don't want that stuff to be scratched up. So I'm going to use this spoon over here. What do you call that? Teflon, maybe? I think that you call it Teflon. The beans are looking wonderful. I'm going to turn those down to low. All right, so at this point here, we're just kind of waiting for the rice to start boiling. I think the rule of thumb is you should never use metal, like any kinds of metal spoons on anything with a Teflon coating, because it can scrape it and scratch it up. So it's a magic no stick coating, or Teflon. Yeah, I call it Teflon. Thank you, Miss Rebecca. Yes. I cannot believe you haven't tasted anything yet. Well, I did. I tasted the bacon. And then if I know some people, if I start tasting things, they're going to start screaming germ contamination. Remember, though, that if you're in your own kitchen, guys, you really can't argue and scream and holler about germ contamination. Now, if I was cooking at a restaurant where there's other people who are going to be eating my food, that's one thing. But here in your own kitchen, I think you're pretty much allowed to taste whatever you want, whenever you want. And even if you have your family who's about to eat with you, that's your family. That's your family, and what you get, they get. That's just the way it goes. I want to say congratulations to the powers that be, and I think that we all know what powers it be without having to say it, who was able to negotiate, or let's just say demand a ceasefire in the Middle East, or else all hell's going to break loose once I'm in there. And it was so nice to find out that there's a ceasefire for now. I think that everyone knows that strong leadership is the key to getting things done in the world. And we're just so very blessed that for no matter who you want to give credit to, let's just say thank you, God, that for a temporary while, hostages will be released, the fighting will stop. And so you can still scream and holler. If you're the kind of person who just looks for a reason to scream and holler, then scream and holler all you want to. You can paint your hair purple, walk outside and just scream. But the truth of the matter is, there's a ceasefire. After 400 and some odd days of horrible, horrible conditions, there's finally a ceasefire in the Middle East, Gaza. And it looks as though hostages will be released, prisoners will be exchanged, and there'll be a chance for people to get help that need help. And so we can't focus so much on, well, hold on a minute, though. Who actually signed the paperwork? Who cares? It's done. And let's just hope that all of the phases and all of the criteria are met, and we can get this thing taken care of and get these Americans home, get these other people back to their families. Let's give medical supplies to those that need it on all sides of who need it. And so it's just such a blessing to see that today. It was a little bit ridiculous, all the pandering and posturing. Okay, at this point, everything's going to be put on low. I need a lid for that. That one right there, I need a lid. Too big, too small. Too big, too small. Just right. So I think that we can all say a prayer of thanks that we'll finally be getting some American hostages back home after 400 and some odd days. We're finally getting, it looks like, some groundwork for peace. And I think that there's nobody, there will be some who will still find a reason to fight and argue. But for the most part, we're so very blessed that strong leadership is going to finally get some things done. Now, if we can just hope that we have similar agreements of ceasefire with Russia and Ukraine, because there's a lot of folks dying over there, a whole lot dying over there, and it's just so sad to see. All right, so I have to leave that rice. I need to remove it from the heat, and for 5 minutes. All right, so in 5 minutes, we'll serve our plates. Can you guys give me 5 minutes? I know that I've been going a little bit longer than what I told you I would, and I'm so sorry. Should have been a 30-minute meal, but sometimes things go a little bit over. While I'm waiting, I'm going to go ahead and get my cilantro into the colander, get it cleaned up, and then go ahead and cut it up into smaller pieces. This is cilantro here. So I've taken the cilantro and I cut it as small as I possibly could. I don't really like the stems, so things like this, I'll try not to include that in there, but I will peel those off. And I don't really care for the stems a whole lot. But here's the cilantro itself. It'll be ready to go on top of the beans. And then we are almost there, friends. We are almost there. The rice is on its final few minutes. I did buy 2 things of cilantro because I may end up having cooking more beans up later this week, or especially before next week when our cold weather comes. Let me stir these up right quick. All right, are you guys ready to have a little peek at the kitchen? Shelly says, welcome to our family. Hey, welcome. If there's someone new who joined, I want to say personally, welcome to the channel. Tonight you caught Lester in the kitchen cooking a meal on a live video. I don't cook a whole lot, but on occasion I do like to show recipes that some of my favorite things to cook. Most people will not make my kinds of meals at their homes, and that's fine. I just remind you all that I am a man, and for as many of you ladies that insist on doing it your way, you might sometime ask your man. And could I ask for a show of hands? Here's an example. Watch this over here. How many ladies will be honest and admit that the day that I made the Frito pie, or the day that I did the chilies and burritos, or the day that I did the steak and potatoes, how many of your men says, heck, I would love that? Will anyone admit it and say that your man says, you know what, heck, I would love that? And that you may even have made that for him based on that particular live video? Any of those live videos? I see several saying mine. Someone says mine didn't. Hey, to each his own, to each his own, to each his own, to each his own. It's not for everybody. But I have been known to make a man's type meal on occasion, and I love it. Okay, if you'll give me a moment, I'm going to go ahead and serve myself a plate. I'll offer one to Jamie as well. Babe, do you want to eat? I'm going to take the cilantro and put it on top of the beans now. Y'all want to watch? It's hard to hold. I'll just let that cilantro seep down through there. All the beans are ready. Now the rice, I'm so sorry, but I don't think the rice is going to be ready. So what happened was there was too much water put into the rice. And what I'm going to have to do is boil that water out of there. All right, so the beans are wonderful, but the rice does have too much water. So what I can do, and what I've done before, and you guys probably know about this, is even though it said that once the water's boiling, you put your rice in, you return it to a boil, then you take it off the heat and let it set for 5 minutes. The problem is the rice has way too much water. So what I'm going to do is turn the rice back on, get it to a boil, and I'll try to boil that water out of there into steam. So I'll replace that water with steam and let it just come right on up out of there, and then the rice will be fine. So everyone who's saying get a rice cooker, we don't really do enough rice around here. We don't really eat that much rice. Can you drain the rice? If I drain the rice, I'm going to also end up draining all of the ingredients, the flavoring that makes the rice taste so good. And we really love the taste of that yellow rice. So just allow me to go ahead and boil it for a minute. That water will boil out of there, and that rice will be as good as. It'll take a little bit longer is the only problem. Lester, you shouldn't strain it. you should strain it. No, if I strain it, I'm going to lose all my flavoring. Friends, if it were white rice, that would be different. White rice is different, but yellow rice, the Zatarain's rice, it has all kinds of flavorings that make it as delicious as it is. And so you don't want to drain it or strain it, or you're going to end up losing all of that flavoring. What you can do, though, is just boil it. I'm not trying to say that I know it all. I don't know it all, but I do know if I can just boil that water, all of that water will turn to steam and come on out of there, and then it'll leave me with my yellow rice and all the same flavoring. That is the right thing to do in this situation. Cheers to you all. 20 minutes to cook rice, easy peasy. Rice should have been easy, but we just put too much water. I don't think that Jamie actually measured. She might have. Maybe she needs to borrow my glasses. I don't know. And I'm not trying to blame this on Jamie, guys. It should have been my own thing. I couldn't even find the right pot. So what does that tell you? The right way to cook it. All right, so what we're going to do is let that rice boil away. You can see the steam on that rice is boiling. I'm going to let it keep on boiling. It'll be fine. The rice might be a little bit soft, but I'd rather sacrifice and have a softer, less textured rice than I would lose all the flavoring of draining it. I don't want to drain that rice or strain it. I don't. That's a lot of water. I agree, Miss Colette. It's a lot of water on there. Let's go ahead and serve up a plate of the beans, though. Do y'all mind if I use paper plates? Is that going to bother anybody if I just go paper plates? Okay. Babe. Doesn't that look wonderful? Now, I know it's not for everybody. Hey, babe.
I was talking to Kim, sorry.
You want to take a taste of my beans?
Okay.
The rice is not quite ready yet, but here you go. We're all going to watch Jamie have a taste.
Do we have to watch Jamie eat? So hot.
It is hot. Be very careful. And?
It's delicious. Oh boy, your sausage is connected.
Mm-hmm. Mmm. Oh. Oh. Mmm. 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 Mmm.
What are you doing?
That's what I do.
My ear.
That's what I do.
That was in my ear, literally.
That's what I do when I'm happy. That's my happy dance.
Well, I've never seen it before.
Mm, 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 mm. Want a drink? It's Pepsi. I will say that these beans, hey, I need a score of 1 to 10. She can't breathe. She's trying to catch her breath. Is it hot? Spicy hot or just fire hot? Fire hot. Hey, these beans are fantastic. Like I said, this recipe may not be for everybody, and that's completely fine. The things that make you uncomfortable do not have the same effect on Jamie and I.
How many dishes did you make?
Jamie, I'll deal with that later.
Pleasure, Eugene.
We'll deal with that later. Right now, we're enjoying ourselves a nice, steaming hot, perfect for winter weather paper plate of beans. And we'll soon have some rice. It's just a little bit too much water on there. Mmm. Mmm.
So, can I say something?
Jamie's-
So I love baked beans. And if you are someone that loves baked beans, this is not the bean recipe for you. It's very different than what I would say is normal, especially Midwestern beans. But it is good. Lester likes to eat it with yellow rice or French fries or both.
Or with nothing. I could eat it like that with a spoon.
He will. He'll eat that whole pot.
Thank you for helping me with the rice.
I didn't do much. And then I got on the phone with your sister.
So I will let you all know how much we appreciate you for joining us. It went longer than what I thought it was going to go, but I wish you were here to join me. I would be more than happy to give each and every one of you a plate. It'd be a small plate, but you would be able to enjoy yourself some of our. Sorry about that. And I have spilt beans all down my chin. That's just great. Probably when I was dancing.
Yeah, in my ear.
In your ear. Thank you all for watching. Like I said, the rice just has a couple of more minutes and it will finally, that water will boil out of there and we'll be able to serve ourselves some rice with these beans. I want to thank you guys for being who you are. And remember, and we'll just have to remember to preach this on our channel, is that you never allow someone else's triggers to force you to tiptoe around in life. You cannot go through life tiptoeing around other people's triggers. You be who you are, and people will love you the way that you are. And if they don't, then that you don't need them in your life anyway. That's my message, along with these wonderful beans over here. By the way, quick question, and then I'll let you go. Are beans, Jamie, question for you.
Yeah.
Beans, are they a fruit or a vegetable? Same question to you all. Beans, are they a fruit or a vegetable? Jamie's thinking. Look how long and hard she's thinking.
They're a vegetable.
Jamie says that beans are a vegetable. A lot of you guys are also saying vegetables. Guess what? You're wrong.
That's not true.
Google it.
But hold on. Fruits have to have seeds inside of them. Beans
Watch.
do not have seeds inside.
Watch, Jamie.
Beans are the seeds.
Jamie, just watch. Y'all ready? Are beans a fruit or a vegetable?
Hold on. Ask it pinto beans. Be very specific.
Beans are a fruit. They're commonly considered vegetables. Boom, shaka laka 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 laka.
It must be true.
Boom, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Google knows it all, don't they? I know. Thank you all for watching. We love you and we're blessed to have you. And we'll catch you guys on tomorrow's video, okay? Thank y'all. Thank you so very much. Hey, Jamie, how do I end the live when I go from my computer? I found it. Bye, guys.